Hi everyone. In this video, I would like to point out some of the main points of Lewis Charland's Why Psychiatry Should Fear Medicalization. Let me share the screen with you. First, I would like to point out some vocabulary, as you can see Dr. Charland there, that you will need to understand to fully comprehend this article. The terms are in a document right below this video with links on where you can find the term defined. Get in the habit of looking up unfamiliar terms. It's never been easier to do this because of the internet. To aid you in this endeavor, I have added links to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, and One Look Dictionary to the course site under General Resources. That's toward the top of the course site. You can use any source you have found reliable, but these sources are ones that I use on a regular basis. Wikipedia is pretty good for very general things, but to be on the safe side, use instructor-approved sites. There are two main points in the article that you want to be sure and understand. They are, one, the co-optation of contemporary psychiatry by the pharmaceutical industry, and two, the looping effects of self-conceptions of those who are diagnosed with mental disorder, along with the effects of social media. I will briefly explain these 2 points to help you to understand this article on your own. After a rather lengthy intro, most of which is helpful, Charland makes the first key point. Commercialization by the pharmaceutical industry is changing the way drugs are being prescribed and the way that mental disorders are being defined. The problem is that the clinical trials to test new medications are supposed to be unbiased to protect the public, and this is what most people think. This is what most people think testing by the Food and Drug Administration is all about. However, because pharmaceutical companies are the ones paying for most of these studies, there's a huge bias in favor of getting more drugs approved so they can make the biggest profit they can, according to Charland. One result of this is that drugs that are not originally intended to be used for relieving symptoms of mental illness, are being tweaked and then used as drugs for mental illness. Charland says, in conclusion, these developments suggest that medicalization in psychopharmacology is compromised by unbridled commercialization. As a result, psychiatry is courting scientific trivialization. That's on page 166 of the article. By the way, in terms of those terms that are in the document that's under this video, and any other terms that you find that you're unfamiliar with or unfamiliar how to pronounce, you can go to the internet and say, how do you pronounce, and then put the word, and there will be, for a lot of words, a dizzyingly amount of words are available to you on YouTube and other places that will have someone with perfect diction just pronounce the word. It's very helpful. And also, in some of these big words, if you're unfamiliar with using them, just take them one syllable at a time and practice. That's what people do. Just for psychopharmacology, I can say it kind of fast now, but the way I learned to say it was psychopharmacology, and just say it slowly and deliberately. And if you do that in the comfort of your own home when nobody's around, then when you go out into the world and you say words like that, people will care. Okay, no, they will. It's good to be able to learn how to say it that way. Okay. Just a little joke there. Sorry. The second point I want to present is about the intervention of social media in what has been called the looping effect of humankinds. Philosopher Ian Hacking, in a 1995 book, presented the term looping effect of humankinds, not humankind, one word, but humankinds, in the following way. When a natural science, like biology or chemistry, proposes a new natural kind, like copper or gravity, the way that thing is discussed and classified has no effect on the behavior of that thing. According to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, to say that a kind is natural is to say that it corresponds to a grouping that reflects the structure of the natural world rather than the interests and actions of human beings. However, classifying humans has a looping effect, so that, say, diagnosing a person with a mental disorder can alter that person's behavior and even change that person's sense of herself. So there's a looping effect between the person's sense of self and the classification of that person as having a certain mental disorder. In 1995, Hacking did not factor the effects of social media into this equation, so Charland argues that social media has intensified this looping effect of humankinds. So one thing changes the other. And in the case of social media, it becomes a kind of a triangulation of changes that go around and around. Yeah, one thing changing the other, and then the other thing changing back, and it's a very dynamic process. This video is not meant to lay out every detail of this article, by the way. You'll need to grapple with the text yourself. But I hope this video does help you understand this very interesting and important article. Thank you very much for your time and attention.